Alright, we're gonna go ahead and get our stream started on YouTube, so hopefully that works correctly this time. Okay, it's 5 o'clock.
Are you ready?
Yep, whenever you are.
It is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020 at 5 p.m. The Eastern Illinois Area Special Education Board is coming to order. Due to the recent restrictions on public gatherings, the EIASE governing board members will participate in the meeting via teleconference. The EIASE governing board meeting will still be held at 5837 Park Drive in Charleston and will be open to the public. We will practice social distancing for any attendees of the meeting. This meeting may be viewed at YouTube.
Yep.
So, under the agenda, we'll have a call to order, and will you please call roll?
Arthur Shannon Cheek.
She's on too.
Monica's. Okay, Monica Green too. Okay. Beecher City, Craig Anderson.
Present.
Casey Westfield, Casey Overbeck.
Present.
Cowden Herrick, Zach Sarver.
Present.
Cumberland, Todd Butler.
He's present.
Okay. Effingham, Jane Willenborg.
Yeah.
Kansas, Gabe Bodecker.
Present.
Martinsville, Doug Danke.
Present.
Matt 2, Michelle Skinlow.
Present.
Neoga, Bill Fritcher.
Present.
Okaw Valley, Tracy Ryherd.
Present.
Paris 95, Cindy Mathis. Okay. Shelbyville, Ellen Trainer.
Present.
Sullivan, Ashley Flory.
Justin.
Justin.
Present.
He said Ashley.
That's his wife's.
All right. And Villa Grove, Bill Falk.
Present.
Did I miss anybody?
Did we miss anybody? I see that Jane Willenborg is on the meeting. Jane, are you able to unmute yourself there and?
Did you get Cumberland?
You got
Cumberland, Todd Butler.
Todd Butler for Cumberland. Or Todd is your board member there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Bob Blade.
All right. Thanks, Bob. And Matt Gruhl, Stu Strauss,
Okay. Kendall Morris.
Kenda Morris,
Okay.
Matt Gruhl just joined.
Okay.
Matt Gruhl from Windsor.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Anybody else?
Monica Green, Arthur
Okay, Monica Green,
Okay.
Arthur. Thank you, Monica.
I removed my mute.
Okay.
Effingham.
Thanks, Jane.
Okay, under reception of visitors, we have a few that are in attendance virtually. Would you please state your name for that you're in attendance? I saw Tim Condren from Mattoon was here, my new
Tim
superintendent.
Condren from Mattoon.
Okay. Todd Butler from Cumberland.
Shannon Creek.
Yeah.
Shannon Creek. Thank you for joining us this evening. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board regarding any issues on the agenda?
Mr. Quinn just joined also.
Okay.
Seeing none, we will move to election of governing board officers, and Mr. Reilly, I'll let you start that.
Sure.
one.
So in our, with our governing board, EASE has two boards, as many of you know. Our governing board is made up of elected officials, one elected official
Can
from.
you hear me?
Yeah, who was that? Okay. The governing board is made up of an elected official from each one of our member school districts. We typically have had.
Because it's a third seat.
I'm gonna mute somebody here. We've typically had a president and a vice president and a secretary at each one of our for our board meetings. The folks who have served in this capacity in the past, we have Ms. Skinlow from Mattoon who served as the president, Mr. Titus of Charleston has served as the vice president, and Mr. Quinn of Tuscola has served as the secretary. Mr. Quinn has notified us that he would like to step down as secretary. He's served several years in that capacity and done quite well for us. It's my intent that serving as a governing board officer is not an overly burdensome task. For the most part, the day-to-day operations are managed by the EASE Executive Board, which is made up of school superintendents. And
Excuse me, Tony.
yes.
Could you have everyone mute their mic while you're speaking?
Yeah, I'll ask if everyone. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, if everybody, you should have on the bottom of your screen, and if you need to, you have to move your mouse. The left button there that comes up that looks like a microphone. If you click that, that will mute yourself. So if you are not speaking, mute yourself, and then whenever it's time for you to vote, if you can unmute yourself, so like it's just that easy and it happens pretty quickly. That will help with the noise and make it so that everyone can hear.
Arcola just joined.
Okay.
All right.
James Crane.
All right. Thanks, everybody. It's so like I said, those are the folks that have served in the past. At this time, we would need a nomination. We'd start with the office of president, and so we have if we would get a nomination for office of president, like I said before, Ms. Skinlow of Mattoon, who lives very close, and when we need to have documents signed, has been readily available and served in this capacity for many years in the past, and been very beneficial for us to be able to conduct business, to have somebody so close. So if anyone can think of somebody that they would like to nominate for the office of president, we would take nominations now.
I nominate Michelle Skinlow, president.
Okay, Mr. Quinn nominates Ms. Skinlow. Do we need a second?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Second that, Matt Rule from Windsor.
Matt Gruhl from Windsor seconds that. Thank you, Mr. Gruhl. Any other nominations? Need a motion to close the nominations?
Just
No.
close the
By-
nominations by acclamation.
Okay, so by acclamation, then Ms. Skinlow would be president of the EASE board for another year. You want?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your confidence in me. And for vice chair, I need a nomination, please. Are there any nominations out there? Please unmute and speak.
Is not on, but Jane Willenberg is.
Jane Willenberg from Effingham, would you be interested in that position?
Sure.
Okay, I make a motion to nominate Jane Willenberg from Effingham. And I need a second, please.
Bill Grove, second.
Villa Grove, second, thank you. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, congratulations, Jane, you are now our new vice chairman, and we appreciate you volunteering for that.
Thank you.
And I need, now we'll move on to secretary. I would like to nominate Matt Gruhl from Windsor. You have big shoes to fill, Mr. Gruhl, if you accept. Mr. Quinn has been wonderful in helping us out. Would you accept the nomination?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a second, please.
Tony, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? This is Jared Dyer from Unit 4. It's not allowing me to speak.
Okay, I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I called back and this time it's working. The first time it didn't work.
Oh, sorry about that.
Nope, I've been with you since the beginning of the meeting though, so I'm sorry. Please continue.
Okay, thank you.
So I need a second to approve Matt Gruhl from Windsor as secretary.
Bill Fisher from Neoga will second that.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, Mr. Gruhl, congratulations and thank you for helping us out. By acclamation, you are now the secretary.
Thank you.
Item 5, approval of the regular minutes of the Tuesday, March 26, 2019 Governing Board meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Motion approved by Lily Rose.
Motion to second, Oakville Valley.
Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Did I go too fast?
Sorry. Item 6, budget hearing and presentation of the EIASE 2020-2021 annual budget for final approval. I need a motion to go into the hearing, please.
Motion by Craig Anderson, Beecher City.
Second by Matt Titus Charleston.
Okay, are there any comments? We are now in the budget hearing.
Okay, thank you, everybody. This is, every year we present the budget. This is one of our 2 regular meetings that we have each year. This year there have been some significant changes to our budget, and I'll get in and explain this. A couple years ago when we started talking with, when we were looking at budgeting and we were looking at moving forward, this was the school year where the idea flow-through grants flow directly to school districts. So we've been making some changes to our joint agreement document over the last couple of years to talk about how this gets handled, and this is the year where we execute that. So you'll see when we look at year-to-year comparisons, last year we were, in terms of our revenue, about $2 million more, and in terms of expenditures, about $2 million more than where we currently are, and that's because of the IDEA subgrants, the money that's flowing directly, that was flowing from the federal government to ISB, to EIASE, out to districts, is now just flowing directly to districts. So it's reducing our expenditures, but it's also reducing our revenue. One of the things that you'll see if we looked at a comparison between last year and this year is that our federal sources of revenue is down significantly, and once again that's because those IDEA funds, those about $8 million in federal revenue that used to flow from the Fed to EIASE, and then we would spend on behalf of the districts by running programs, and so it would offset tuition. That's about $6 million out of the $8 million in grant money that is now increasing in the local sources for receipt of revenue. The overall budget's down about $2 million. We've made some reductions in staff. We basically put on a hiring freeze in April and May of not knowing what to expect for this school year, because we are basically a tuition-based program. We work to educate the kids that come to us, but we also have to have staff in the event that districts do send us kids. And knowing that this year was going to be different, but not knowing how different, were districts going to try to educate some of these kids on their own if they were doing remote learning? Were they going to expect us to do that? We were just put a halt on hiring in the event that we were going to be down. So far, our enrollment is not down very many students at all. There's been several positions that we have not filled, that we are just leaving unfilled at this point, primarily because we do need fewer staff with remote learning than we need to operate in-person learning. Just to give everybody a very quick heads up of just kind of what our operations are looking like in remote learning, we do employ a large number of teacher aides. One of the things that we've seen is that for something like our Life Academy, our students that are being educated remotely, the vast majority of them are able to engage in learning online. We do have some students who we're working to try to develop support plans for who are not benefiting or not benefiting to the extent that we would like from remote learning, and it's those students with the most severe disabilities. We're working on solutions for that to try to figure out how we can provide some in-person services for those students. But the other students who are doing remote learning, it's taking while the teacher's teaching, the teacher aides are making materials for the next week, because it's so much hands-on material that are having to be made for students with severe disabilities that even though the instruction's happening over a computer, a lot of times they're working with manipulatives, they're working with materials that the teacher aides are making. So it's like when we go through and we visit, it's like a small educational factory that's happening. And it's taking an incredible amount of planning on the part of the teachers to think far out enough ahead to say, I need to direct my teacher aides to do X, Y, and Z this week while I'm teaching, so that next week while I'm teaching, I need to think, another week out to have my teacher aides make materials. In our TLC programs, the teacher aides are just like we're doing here in a Google Meet. A lot of times in a typical classroom, we'll have, if we have 10 students in a classroom, we might have 2 or 3 students that are reading at a post-high school level, at a collegiate level. We'll have 2 or 3 students reading at grade level, and we might have 2 or 3 students reading at a 6 or 7 years behind grade level. And so it takes the teacher and the aides splitting up those groups into smaller groups to provide instruction. So the aides, under the direction of and the supervision of the teachers, for the most part in our TLC classrooms, are also working with staff or working with students just like they do when we're in person providing instruction. So even though we're down right now, we're looking at we're down on total federal sources. That is being made up by local sources. So the money that is coming directly to districts, in essence, is kind of being sent back to EIASE to pay tuition. So districts are seeing in their own local budgets an increase in federal revenue, but an increase in their payments to other governmental units to offset, because what used to be offset, where we would just pay staff here with the money that we received directly from federal budgets, that's now going to the districts, and they're paying that back to us. So what you see here is our source of revenue, and this is kind of where you can kind of see this comparison between last year, what last year looked like, that local tuition being about $6.5 million. Now we project that being about $12.5 million. And like I said, that's because when we come down here and we look at revenue, well, that's expenditures by object. I go down all the way down here, wherever the revenue side is, up there, wrong way. Once again, that federal revenue, here we go, going from 7.4 million down to 0 on the federal idea. All of that money is flowing directly to districts. We still have the same expenditures, and that's the reason for the increase in tuition. Like I said, we're seeing that overall expenditures going down, or revenue going down about 2 million. The overall expenditures also going down about $2 million. The projected tuition we anticipate to be roughly the same, but we're basing that on numbers from right now. If we see a significant amount of students homeschool or just basically drop out of school or drop out of the programs, tuition might likely increase. Our teachers are on annual contracts just like they are with you. We're not able to RIF staff mid-year. Those RIF decisions would have had to have taken place before COVID hit, so we weren't able to anticipate that through the RIF process this past year, which is a major reason why we've looked at why we did the hiring freeze when we did. Overall, like I said, we're looking at this is a comparison of the big expenditure programs and how one year compares to the next. Our preschool program is where in the past we've kind of looked at that as like, oh, this is a state grant program and not as predictable. Right now, it's our largest source of non-district revenue, and so that preschool for all budget has been reduced a little bit, but it remains healthy enough to cover the expenditures that we anticipate for this year. This is the projected number of students that we have. Like I said, this is kind of what we ended last year with, and we also anticipate things are looking at the start of this year so far roughly the same in terms of number of students. We have had a few students who we've been notified that are choosing to homeschool instead of enroll while remote learning's happening, but that's only been a few so far. And that's the budget presentation. Are there any questions, any comments or thoughts on the budget?
Seeing no questions, I need a motion and a second to close the budget hearing.
I call strike on you too. You know. Motion Bill Grove.
Bill Fulp from Bill Grove.
So it's a motion and a second.
Second Tuscola.
Second Tuscola, thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
We are now out of the budget hearing, and I need a motion and a second for final approval for the budget.
Kansas will make the motion.
Second,
Charlton.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we need a roll call vote, please.
Arcola James Crane,
Yes.
Arthur Monica Green,
yes.
Beecher City Craig Anderson,
Yes.
KZ Westville Casey Overbeck,
Yes.
Charleston Matt Titus,
Yes.
Cowden Herrick Zach Sarver,
Yes.
Cumberland Bob Blade,
Yes.
Effingham Jane Woolenborg,
Yes.
Kansas Dave Bodeker,
Yes.
Martinsville Doug Danke,
Yes.
Mattoon Michelle Skinlow,
Yes.
Neoga Bill Fritcher,
Yes.
Okaw Valley Tracy Ryherd,
Yes.
Paris 4 Jared Dyer,
Yeah.
Paris 95 Cindy Mathis, Shelbyville Ellen Trainer,
Yes.
Stu Straws Kenda Morris,
Yes.
Sullivan Justin Flory,
Yes.
Tuscola Rick Quinn,
Yes.
Villa Grove Bill Falk,
Yes.
and Windsor Matt Gruel.
Thank you very much.
Cindy Mathis is, she may not, did she say yes?
Yeah, I don't know if she replied. or not.
Cindy Mathis, did we hear from you?
She on still, I don't know.
Yeah, she might be having trouble.
Okay, I see it, okay. All right, thank you very much. Item 7, I need to establish the next regular meeting date of the EZ Governing Board. And our director has recommended Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021
Cruz from,
at 7 p.m. Hopefully we'll be able to meet in person. And an alternate date of Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Did you get all of, we're checking on the,
Dan Cruz from Marshall is on.
Okay.
so we have all of the votes in. We've established the meeting date, so I need a motion and a second to adjourn our governing board meeting at 5:25 p.m.
I make that motion, Oka Valley, Nancy Riker.
Ocala Valley,
Bill Gross, second.
second by Villa Grove. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we are done.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
I got time.
You got time?